All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, April 8th. We got a bunch of MLB games to jump into today, guys. Very excited. Last night, we do end up going 1-2. One of our losses was a half unit. It was the Reds for way plus money, plus 170, a half unit there. So it's a 1-2 night, but one of the losses at least won't kill us. It was a half unit play, but we do hit Cubs money line and then lose Yankees money line. And then I talked about the Reds money line half unit play, but I'm very excited to jump back into it today. That was our first non-profitable MLB day in a while, so very excited to jump into today's slate. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, and let's start it off here. We got the Minnesota Twins taking on the Astros here. Astros on the road, plus 106 dogs here. Twins minus 116 money line. I will say some of these graphics to your right, my left, I guess, those lines that I have may be a little bit different. We screenshotted this a little bit earlier, so keep that in mind. But Twins here minus 116 on the money line at home. Total sitting at 7.5 in this one. I do jump to an under right away. I do think that is one of my bigger leans. Yesterday, these two teams played. It was 3-2 was the final score. Minnesota taking that win. And on the mound, we have a couple of good pitchers here. We have Ryan on the mound for the Twins and then Garcia on the mound for the Stros. I do think that this is an under type of a game, a little bit of a wind coming in towards home plate as well. So I don't think we're going to see too many home runs or anything like that. So I'm going to lean towards the under. And then in terms of a play, I think you do have some value here getting Astros plus money on the road. So I'm going to lean towards Astros plus 106 here on the money line. Moving on, we got Philadelphia taking on the Reds here. Phillies minus 137 at home here on the money line. Total sitting at 7.5 right now. In terms of their last game, Philly wins this one 5-2. That is the breaker that we had yesterday. We did take a little bit of a shot with the Reds there on the money line. Didn't work out for us. We might be doing it again today. I don't think that Philly is a valuable play at minus 137 on the money line, so I am going to look at the Reds in this one plus 127. Lodolo on the mound for the Reds, and then we have Falter on the mound for Phillies here. In terms of a total, though, this one was tough. I kind of did go back and forth. I've seen the sports books have this at 8 or 7.5. I think this one just creeps over that, but if you do have access to 7.5, I obviously would say go pull that. You don't want the push of 8, but I've seen 7.5 and 8 on plenty of sports books. So make sure you guys do line shop and look around for your best line and best odds over there as well. But I'm going to lean towards the, the Reds and the overs in this game. Moving on, we got the Royals taking on the Giants here. Giants minus 130 money line here. Total sitting at 8.5 right now. Yesterday, Royals won this one 3-1. We wanted to pull the trigger. If you heard yesterday's video, I was like going back and forth. I wanted to pull the trigger on Kansas City money line. We ended up not doing that, so did not really work out for us. But I think this one is going to be a pretty close game. I think there's some value there on the Royal side of things, but this Giants team, they kind of, I don't know, they throw me through a loop every single time I watch them play now or watch it track along them playing. They're scoring 1,000,000 runs one game, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we'll score 2 runs or 1 run. So I don't really feel too safe taking this, but I do think I'm going to lean towards Giants here on the money line. In terms of a total, I'm going to look at the under as well. This is another one where lines are kind of changing constantly. A lot of sportsbooks have this at 8, but I've seen a bunch of 8.5s out there as well. So if you are on the under with me, make sure you try and find that 8.5, all right? Moving on, we got the Cubs taking on the Rangers here. Cubs minus 114 money line. Steele on the mound for the Cubs. Perez on the mound for the Rangers. I think this one is an absolute under look. Now, it is a low total at 7, which is kind of crappy, but I still like the under here, and I do like Cubs money line as well. Yesterday, we win that one. Cubs win this game 2-0. I think that this is an under spot, and I also think that, looking at the weather, they also have wind coming directly in at home plate, so I do think that that's always something to factor in terms of, you don't have those big home runs or they could potentially have multiple, 2-run home run, 3-run home run that can really juice it over. So I'm going to lean towards the under in this one. I think there's also a little bit of value there. You're getting some good odds in terms of Cubs money line. I like that spot for them as well. We probably run it back. We've been taking a lot of Cubs money line this season and it's been cashing for us. All right, Mets taking on the Marlins here. Mets minus 163 money line here at home. Total is sitting at 7.5. Yesterday, Mets win this one 9-3. They finally kind of got out of their whatever you want to say, whatever the hell they've been doing, right? They lost 3-4 straight, and then all of a sudden yesterday they win that game 9-3. I think that minus 163, minus 170 is a little bit too much to lay, but I don't hate Mets run line today. It's plus 130 odds for minus 1.5 there. So I think there's a lot of value in taking that. We're going to take a peek at that. That's going to be my lean. And then in terms of a total, I truly don't hate the over in this one as well. I think this one can get into the double digits run score. We finally saw the Mets bats come alive yesterday. Maybe they do that again when we cash this over fairly easily. All right, moving on, we got Boston taking on the Tigers here. Tigers plus 120 home money line dogs here. Total sitting at 8.5. Yesterday's game, Boston wins that one 6-3. That was one of our leans. I wish that we were kind of like able to stick to it. We did not. But it's Chris Sale pitched against Turnbull. Today on the mound is Tanner Houck for the Sox, and then Joey Wentz on the mound for the Tigers. I think this one is another Red Sox spot. I'm gonna look at them minus 130. In terms of a total 8.5, I'm also gonna take a peek at the over, but ever so slightly. I think this is a very good line. I can see this easily being a 9 or 8 run game, putting it right smack dab in the middle of that over, but I am going to slightly lean towards that 9+, and I'm going to look at the over in this one, and like again, the Red Sox money line. All right, Oakland taking on Tampa Bay here. Tampa Bay minus 270 money line favorites at home. Total right now sitting at 7.5. Yesterday's game, Tampa Bay wins this one 9-5. Tampa Bay's offense has looked very good at multiple times. Playing indoors too, I do think that obviously you're gonna always want to look towards an over here. I think this one probably creeps up towards 10, 11 runs if I had to take a stab at it, which is kind of the point of the show. I think that I like the over here. Obviously Tampa Bay is the money line play, but that minus 270, minus 250 on multiple books is way too much to lay. So I'm gonna stick away from that. I'm actually gonna take a peek at Oakland plus 1.5 or plus 125. Very rarely now, obviously you have to be pretty bad to be in this spot, but very rarely do you get plus 1.5 on the run line and plus money. So I think that's a very good spot. I think we're probably going to pull the trigger on that simply from a value perspective with those odds. So I do like that. Whether or not, that becomes a final play, I'm telling you it probably is going to be, but keep an eye on the pin comment. I can always change my mind, right? I got the keyboard that I can type away at. But let's keep it going here. Before we do, I do want to let you guys know that we are doing no run first innings over on TikTok. We're posting some here on YouTube Shorts as well, but we're doing player props and all that over on TikTok. So make sure you guys do check that out. We got a link in the description. Also, my username will pop up at the bottom of this screen throughout the video. It is Ev Singleton if you do want to go check that out. Guys, we cashed our Nerfy yesterday. Hopefully we can keep that going because we had 2 days in a row of not cashing it. And I was getting pretty turned off by it, but let's get the train back on the tracks here. We got the Guardians taking on the Mariners here. Guardians minus 133 at home. Total right now at 8.5 runs. Yesterday's game, Seattle wins that one 5-3. I didn't really see that coming, if I'm being completely honest. I thought that this was going to be a Guardians victory. One thing that I did look at right away, and I know I'm harping on the weather, but I'm meteorologist Ev out here, right? We said in the comments, meteorologist Ev all day long. 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing directly out to center field. So you love to see that for an over. 8.5 is kind of a high line, so I'm probably gonna stick away from this over. If I had to bet on it, I guess I would lean towards over. But I'm also gonna look at Cleveland here on the money line. Obviously getting the loss yesterday, but I kind of like the minus 133 odds there at average sports books. All right, moving on, we got the White Sox. We're 3-5 on the season, taking on the Pirates, who are kind of surprisingly 5-2. Velasquez on the mound for the Pirates and Clevenger on the mound for the White Sox. Pirates right now plus 114 money line dogs here at home. Total is sitting at 8.5 runs, but I've seen plenty of books have it at 9, which obviously is a fairly high total, but I can totally see why. I think I also still will look at the over in this game, just given what we've seen, I guess, one between these two teams, but kind of all year long for how these teams have been playing. Yesterday's game was 13-9, so you can understand the reaction of books being like, oh, let's bump that total way up there, obviously. But Chicago 6, 9, 7 runs in their last 3 games. Pittsburgh 13, 4, 4, 7. Both these teams are scoring a decent amount of runs to consider that over. And then in terms of a side here, I do think obviously this Pittsburgh team's playing good. I was gonna say playing good basketball, playing good baseball. I do think that there's a little bit of value taking them at home here, plus 114, some plus money home dogs. All right, Yankees taking on the Orioles. Yankees let us down yesterday, but we're going right back to it. This is a spot that I do like. They're minus 129 here on the road. I think that obviously they didn't get a great shake yesterday. I didn't love to see that. They lose 7-6. I was refreshing my phone being like, come on, one run. Close game, 7-6, but didn't love to see the loss there. We do have Brito on the mound for the Yankees and Irvin on the mound for the Orioles. I think that this is probably a game that ends up, Yankees dominate, so I'm actually consider Yankees run line here for plus money. It's plus 120 right now, average sportsbook, so minus 1.5 there on the Yankees. Again, maybe I'm falling down the trap of just betting Yankees. I think they're the better baseball team than the Orioles, whereas the Orioles have kind of shown that they're a pretty good team, right? They're a decent team. They're 4-3 in the season. Watch them in the Red Sox series that opening week. I think that they are a better team than people are giving them credit for, but I think this Yankees team, if you can get them at minus 125, minus 129, I think there's value in that, because I think, if these two teams meet later on in the season, I would imagine this a way different odds for the game. So I'm going to lean Yankees here money line. I also, like I said, do not hate the plus 120 run line there at all. And then in terms of a total, I'm going to take a peek at the over there as well. I think this one gets up into the double digits. All right, Brewers taking on the Cardinals here. Brewers at home, plus 139 home dogs here. Total is sitting at 9 runs. This Cardinals team yesterday did not look too great. Brewers win this one 4-0. Kind of surprising there. Brewers won that they only scored 4 runs, because we saw them score a bunch of runs against the Mets. And then I was very surprised to see the Cardinals score 0 runs. But I'm going to stick to what we saw yesterday. I'm going to lean Milwaukee here on the money line for plus money. And then I'm also going to lean towards the under as well. I think it's a decent spot for the under. I hate to keep saying it, but wind is blowing directly back into the batter's face. It's a chance for precipitation out there as well. This St. Louis team I cannot really trust as of late. 4 straight games scoring 4 or less runs, and 4 straight losses as well. Whereas Milwaukee, the bats are going. They have 3 shutouts in their last 4 games. So say what you want about pitching, different pitchers, yada, yada, yada. Milwaukee's looking pretty good right now. To get plus money at home here, plus 139, I think is a very good spot for them. All right, San Diego taking on the Braves here. Braves minus 149 money line. Total sitting at 9 runs right now as well. Yesterday, these two teams played, and San Diego wins this one 5-4, which is very surprising. We had the Padres at 2 nights ago, and they did. They covered their run line. We had them plus money for a half unit on the money line. That didn't come through, but I think they're going to look at that side again. Seems like they have their number. On the mound, we do have Michael Wacha on the mound for them. And then the Braves have Charlie Morton. I think the Braves get the pitching nod in this one, but I'm still going to look at that money for San Diego, plus 138 money line on the road. In terms of a total, I don't hate the over here. I hate that it is a high number, but I think this Atlanta offense and San Diego offense have both shown that they can put up 5 to 7 runs fairly consistently. So if they do that and stick to the basics, I do think that this one hits the over. All right, few games left on the slate here. We got the Dodgers taking on the Diamondbacks. Dodgers minus 152 money line favorites here on the road. Total is sitting at 9.5 runs, 9 on plenty of sports books. Last time they played was yesterday. Arizona wins this one 6-3, which is very surprising to me. The first game of the series, I think it was the first game of the series 2 days ago on the 6th. LA wins that one 5-2. We did cash that. We're going to lean LA again. Noah Syndergaard on the mound for the Dodgers and Davies on the mound for the D-backs. I think you're going to look at the pitching nod and give it to the Dodgers. And this team is just very good right now. I hate laying the juice of minus 150. Like, that is way out of my comfort zone in terms of, return on investment, I guess. But I do trust this Dodgers team, not based on what we saw yesterday. I'll chalk that up as an L. We didn't take that, but I do think that this is a decent spot for them. And I will say the run line minus 1.5, only being at minus 102, doesn't really tempt me, so I'm almost more comfortable paying the juice for money line. In terms of a total, I'm going to lean towards the under. All right, Washington taking on Colorado here. Colorado minus 140 at home. Total sitting at 11 runs in this one here. These two teams yesterday, we look at a 10-5 win for Washington. On the mound is Gomber for the Rockies, and then Williams on the mound for the Nationals. I think that this one is another spot where you can take a decent shot at the Nationals. They win the game yesterday, scored a bunch of runs. Maybe the bats are a little bit, feeling themselves. They're out in that high altitude. And I asked the Rockies yesterday and the Nationals, prove to me that altitude change is going to result in an over. And they did, 10-5. So I'm going to lean towards the Washington Nationals and the over in this one as well. Again, it's a high number, but there's a reason it's a high number. Last game on the slate, we do have Toronto taking on the Angels here. Angels minus 117 at home money line favorites here, and total is sitting at 9 runs. They played yesterday. Toronto wins this game 4-3. On the mound today for Toronto is Berrios, and Anderson is on the mound for the Angels. I don't love this spot because I wish we were getting better odds, but I'm going to lean towards Toronto here, plus money on the road. I don't hate the run line. I wish it wasn't such bad odds, because I think this is going to be a close game no matter which way you want to spin it. Just like yesterday, it was a 4-3 game, but you're not going to get great odds on the run line for Toronto, plus 1.5. But nonetheless, I am going to lean them money line for plus money. And then in terms of a total 9 runs, I like the under in this one. I think this one sits just around 7 runs. And that is all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys do enjoy the NBA and MLB videos that we're putting out every day. I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right, peace out.